All right, welcome back to the Elias Macco Show. Now, tonight in Montreal, it's the first French language debate for the Liberal leadership hopefuls. All eyes will be on the candidates as they go head-to-head, and we'll be looking at their proficiency in French. And this debate comes hot on the heels of a scandal involving one candidate. Remember, there were 5 candidates for the Liberal leadership. Now there are just 4 after Ruby Dalla has been disqualified. Let's talk about this and more with Antonine Yaccarini, political analyst, PR expert, and a former PQ and CAQ staffer. Antonine, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
What are you going to be watching tonight? Are you just going to be looking at how good Frank Baylis and his West Island French is?
No, I'll be watching for a lot more than that, and my expectations are very high because it's an important debate tonight and tomorrow too, because let's remember, in just a few days, Liberals will elect the next Prime Minister of Canada. So everyone should watch the debates. And should be watching for the candidates to talk about their vision a little more because it's a very quick race and we don't have a lot of answers right now.
So you're so right. March 9th is the date. That's how close it is. And we should be calling it a prime minister's debate because this really is to be the next prime minister. So what do you want to see on that stage?
Okay, so first of all, let's say that I think for Mark Carney, this must be stressful. He has a lot of pressure because he is way ahead in terms of donations, support, polls. So the pressure will be intense tonight. Since the beginning of this very short race, Carney was this mystery man with a good resume. Now we'll get to know him a lot better, and it can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on his performance. You talked about the French skills. It is sure important, and Mark Carney is the weakest in French. Karina Gould, Christophe Freeland, and Frank Baylis have a better level of French. So I bet that probably Mark Carney would have preferred to have the English debate first to warm up a little. But apart from the French language thing, I think tonight 4 specific things we need to be watching for. The first one is their approach regarding Trump. No one will be surprised to hear that Trump should be a huge topic tonight and tomorrow. Yeah. The second very important topic is their vision about public finances. Let's remember that Canada has a $62 billion deficit. We have several major challenges in front of us, and we need to know how those candidates plan to balance financial responsibility with the investments and the spending that will be needed to face the Trump storm. So that's the second thing I will be watching for.
Are they going to? Are the other candidates, the non-Carneys, Karina Gould, Christophe Freeland, Frank Baylis, are they going to attack Mark Carney? Because it's not lost on me that on social media, these candidates, all of their posts, nobody's attacking Carney. The only one that was Ruby Dalla. She was going after him quite strongly. So will we see attacks against the front runner on the stage?
I don't think so. It's a very important point that you are raising because usually when someone is clearly winning a race, the other candidates will not attack the front runner too hard because Mark Carney will very much likely be the next leader. It will be the next prime minister. So the reflex can be to hold back. When you are in a too close to call type of race, the attacks tend to be dirtier. I've been involved in the past in debates preparation, and I've seen both of the situation. When you have a clear leader in the race, you really need to calibrate your attacks because you will have to work together when the race is over. But we'll see, because I don't know if Christophe Freeland will actually hold back during the whole debates. When you think about how she turned on to Justin Trudeau in a very violent way last December, her favorite attack on Mark Carney is calling him a very good public servant. So we'll see if she does that tonight.
That's what I've been thinking about. We're with Antonine Yaccarini, political analyst, talking about the Liberal leadership debate tonight, the French one that will be happening in Montreal. And I've been thinking about that, and then I'm like, well, like Carney's her kid's godfather, right? So
yes, absolutely, they're friends.
What kind of attack could possibly come? And then I say to myself, why are we even going through this process if they're not going to attack if they're not going to try and expose differences here? So part of my worry is that tonight will be quite boring because of that. But I'm hoping to be surprised.
Boring, but it also can be very passive aggressive and in a very polite way. Chrystia Freeland can highlight the fact that Mark Carney is untested. That he has no real political experience, that elections are very hard, and it's very different from talking to liberal crowds, and the campaign will be the real test. And those debates, they will be important because, as I was saying earlier, Mark Carney is this kind of mystery man. So this will be the real first impression of him that will probably have a big impact on this race.
Ruby Dalla, kicked out of the race. What are your thoughts?
She was excluded from the race on Friday because party officials say that there were some irregularities with her campaign. So we'll see. She denies the whole thing. I think probably that the party officials were quite relieved that she was excluded from the debates because she's been very aggressive on social media. She's been attacking the other candidates more. She also, if you go to her Twitter account, she has some, I'd say, particular tweets sometimes, close from conspiracies and, so, and also she doesn't speak French. So I think the tonight's debate would have been hard to listen to with someone that doesn't speak French.
And we've seen that before. I'm forgetting his name, but we had a conservative leadership hopeful a few years back that spoke no French and tried to basically read phonetically for a couple of opening statements.
That was horrible.
Horrible, right? So, I don't know if that helps the party, but I do worry about not leaving it up to voters in the party and making that decision, right? I don't know if it's a good look. Let me wrap up here, Antonine. I want to get your thoughts on the open letter that Stephen Harper, former Prime Minister of Canada, published last week. Last week in the National Post, he published a letter, and he says the preservation of Canada's existence must be our highest objective. I want to read you one little section from it. He's talking about the paths that Canada could take, okay? And he says this: even worse would be continuing down the path of Davos elitism. Our competitiveness agenda must be focused on opportunities and incomes for working class families, not just the economic 1%. The economic priorities of Canada's current leaders in monetary policy, deficits, immigration, climate, and many other areas have fueled inflation, doubled housing, created the worst growth in the G7. What were your thoughts on Stephen Harper's letter to the nation?
Yeah, so it's an attack against Justin Trudeau. Even if we talk about having a united front against Donald Trump, we can see that he is very critical against what's been done in the last 10 years. His message is basically make Canada serious again. We can understand that he's saying that Justin Trudeau was not serious. Stephen Harper draws 4 lessons in his letter. We must remain calm and firm. That is basically Stephen Harper's personality that he's describing. We must prepare plans for all scenarios, including the worst. So he says that we should not exclude to retaliate with counter tariffs. He says, and I quote, "It is true that retaliation is a bad choice, but we only have bad choices right now." The third lesson is that we should not offer unilateral concessions. And I think this one is really, really important because we've been giving Donald Trump concessions and we got nothing in return. So I think this message is really, really important. And the fourth lesson is that this crisis is an opportunity to make Canada stronger and a more competitive country. Everyone will agree with this lesson, but when Stephen Harper talks about making Canada stronger, his solution is natural resources exploitation. Yes.
Yes. Just, Antonine, we're going to have to leave it there, but I just want to say to wrap up here, make Canada serious again. I would put that on a hat, but then people would try and revoke my citizenship. Thanks so much for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you so much. Have a good week.
Political analyst Antonine Yaccarini there.